which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please remain standing, I'd like to invite Dr. Ronnie Wolf, pastor at First Baptist Church in Harrison, to provide the invocation this evening.
Let's bow in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we're thankful for who you are. We're thankful for what you do. We're thankful that you're all-powerful and all-wise and all-present. We ask you, Lord, to be here tonight in this meeting. We pray that you'll show your presence, give wisdom and understanding, and for all the things that these folks are trying to do for our town of Harrison. There are many plans in the making, and we pray that you'll give them guidance and understanding and wisdom to do those things, and may you be the great success of that happening. Because Nehemiah said that his success in building the wall, that you were his success, and you were. Now be with us through the rest of the evening, and may we honor your name. Amen.
Oh, that's one of God's.
I can't take it.
Yeah,
I use it.
I do too, now that you told me it.
Please take the roll call.
Abrams.
Here.
Menninger.
Here.
Grubbs.
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Dole.
Here.
Maines.
Here.
Galindo.
Just as an announcement before we start, every meeting we open with an invocation, and if you're a local pastor or minister and are interested in participating in the program, contact myself or Mark Lewis, and we'll give you the format and application, and we'll get you in the schedule. It's open to any denomination. There's no restrictions in that manner, so feel free to get your name into us if you're interested. First item on this evening's agenda is approval of the council meeting minutes for February 20th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections or additions? Please take the roll.
Dole.
Yay.
Maines.
Yay.
Galindo.
Yay.
Abrams.
Yay.
Menninger.
Yay.
Grubbs.
Yay.
Lewis.
Yay.
Next item is approval of the purchase orders.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, just a couple of questions. There were a couple of items on here, and no reason other than I just always get nervous when I see zeros and large numbers. I had a couple that were Cronin. Let's see, no, it was a Shell credit plan, $20,000 or $12,000 even.
Which account is that in?
Pardon me?
Do you know which account that's
It
in?
was Fund 208.
Fire.
Probably blanket.
Is that blank?
For fuel.
Meaning it's covering multiple months that they know that they're going to be purchasing gas.
All right, so,
Blanket purchase for fuel.
They do it for like 3 or 4
all right,
months.
so we're advancing the money, and it's like a credit, or?
No, you're just approving the purchase order so they can pay it without coming back each and every month for the approval.
Okay. All right.
It's a BPA.
And that would be the same, I guess, on some of these other ones with Cronin Ford. Vehicle maintenance, 2,000 even.
Yes, anything that starts with the VL is a blanket.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns with purchase orders? Everybody should have received an email because we're evaluating a change to this process, so get your comments to Ryan in the Finance Department and Committee so that we can get that all squared away. So for this evening, can we have a roll call on the purchase orders?
Maines.
Yay.
Galindo.
Yay.
Abrams.
Yay.
Menninger.
Yay.
Grubbs.
Yay.
Lewis.
Yay.
Dole.
Yay.
I'd like to invite Shannon Hammonds forward at this time to introduce our invited guest.
Thank you, Mayor. Unfortunately, Jim Kennett, Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, had planned to be here tonight. He has a health issue that he needs taken care of today, so he wasn't able to join us. However, I'm very pleased to invite Gary Ellerhorst to come up and talk about his company, which was chosen as the February Business of the Month, Crown Plastics.
Thank you, members of the council and mayor. We're very honored and pleased to receive this award. Crown Plastics moved to Harrison 40 years ago this year, 1978. We started in Lawrenceburg, and we're there for a few years. In the 40 years, we started at 115, and then bought property at 116, moved across the street, and have added on many times. During the course of that period, we've gotten very much more involved in the ski and snowboard market and a lot of specialty applications. Recently, we started getting involved in thermoplastic composite materials, a lot of material handling, a lot of work with Amazon, UPS, FedEx. So we feel that we're in a lot of good markets right now. We are just under 50 people. We should probably be expanding again sometime during the course of this year. We just initiated a third shift last year. It's not full-blown yet, but we hope to fill that. And then we were hoping long-term that our composites business will necessitate a second facility that's completely just for the composites side of the business, including additional manufacturing equipment. We've got very unique equipment. It would be contracting to build additional pieces of equipment, additional employees, additional support personnel, and a complete and dedicated facility eventually. No telling how big this particular market will be for us, but it's a multi-billion-dollar market in which we are just now entering. So we're very pleased and proud to be here in Harrison, Ohio. We've tried to be as involved in as many things as we can to support the community and we'll continue to do that in any way we can. And hopefully we'll continue to expand. I don't think we'll ever be JTM, but
We can hope.
We're doing a heck of a job,
So-
Gary.
If anything we can do to help that, 2 JTMs in town would be great.
we'll let you know as soon
Yeah.
as we know. So we have opportunity for sure. So we're here to stay. I mean, we love being here. This is our community, and hopefully we'll continue to, as the community grows with the plan that we're very excited about, that we will have more a local workforce that we can employ here with some good high-paying jobs. And so we're very, very pleased to be here. I'm not sure what we're going to do to celebrate 40 years, but we'll let you know if there's anything special that we're going to do to commemorate. But it's been a good 40 years, and we're looking forward to the next 40. So if anyone has any questions about the...
Gary, again, just, you're an example again of the type of leadership that this community, thrives on. You mentioned JTM, you're right there in terms of giving back, paying it forward, I think I heard you say one time, from the days of Main Street to helping us launch the Chamber of Commerce. And I know it's a labor of love for you, and I just want you to know how much all of us and the community appreciates it.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor, and it's a pleasure being a member of the Harrison business community. And I don't know, if I can convince my wife to move further west, I may actually be a resident.
We'll work on her.
But no, I appreciate it, and I say hopefully we will be coming before you many times with plans for growth and additions, and looking for some expansion here. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Gary.
Gary.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Gary.
you, sir.
Next item on this evening's agenda is approval of resolution indicating that services are available for a proposed annexation to the city of Harrison, Ohio from Harrison Township, and to consent to said annexation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do we have any discussion or questions about this certification of services?
Mayor, if you don't mind just explaining for the community's benefit, they're coming in after the annexation, should it be approved, would be coming in as an
As an R0.
R0, and whatever development's going to take place would be subject to PUDs or other zoning proceedings.
So with our JET agreement that we have with Harrison Township, any property that's annexed into the city comes into a holding zone, which is R0. It's not a developable zone. At the time that the owner has a development plan, they come forth with a zoning request to change that zone to the proper zone. And They have some conceptual ideas, but they don't have anything concrete. And when they get to that point, they will bring forth a zoning change request.
And if it comes in as residential, it would not be in the JED, but if it comes in as commercial, it would be.
That's subject to what happens in the future.
Yep.
But the property initially will come into the city as an R0 property. And the certification is that we have the essential services that are necessary to serve this property. So we have a first and a second. Is there any other questions or explanations that are desired?
I heard Hank say JED. This is not connected to the JED property.
It is not. It would be an annexation into the city from Harrison Township. But because of our JED agreement, it has to come in as a holding, into the holding zone of R0.
And what costs or risks to the city would this propose down the road? You know, as we start looking at, depending on the business type with sewage and what have
The
you.
development of the acreage will increase our need for services of police, water, fire, and sewer. And at the volume of property coming in at the most intense development, unless it was something that wouldn't fit in that area, we have the ability to serve it with all those services. We may have to evaluate whether we add a policeman or we'll have to run water and sewer lines to serve some of that area. But, we have the capacity within the plants. Okay. Can you please take the roll?
Galindo,
Yay.
Abrams,
Yay.
Menninger,
Yay.
Grubbs,
Yay.
Lewis,
Yay.
Dole,
Yay.
Maines.
Yay.
That's resolution number 3.
Next item is approval of an ordinance authorizing the transfer of certain funds.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or concerns with the transfers that are being proposed?
So the purpose of the funds for the education and training, is this going to be an ongoing fund for training, or is this a one-time event?
It's a one-time event.
I believe it is a one-time
Yeah.
event.
One-time event.
We had a situation we need to move some funds. So we do these types of transfers occasionally through the year, and then at the end of the year, we have like one where we clean up everything at the end of the budget. So
So this particular move is for supervisor training within the police department. So it's a
This is what
one-time
we
move.
discussed in the
We discussed it 2 weeks
last
ago.
week, yeah, a couple weeks ago.
we hope that these two supervisors are there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Can we have a roll on this item, please?
Abrams,
Yay.
Menninger,
Yay.
Grubbs,
Yay.
Lewis,
Yay.
Dole,
Yay.
Maines,
Yay.
Galindo.
Yay.
That's ordinance number 18.
Next item is to approve an ordinance amending the amount appropriated to various funds of the city of Harrison, Ohio.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Please take the roll.
Menninger,
Yay.
Grubbs,
Yay.
Lewis,
Yay.
Dole,
Yay.
Maines,
Yay.
Galindo,
Yay.
Abrams.
Yay.
That's ordinance number 18.
Next item on this evening's agenda is to approve an ordinance to enact Section 131.04 of the Harrison Codified Ordinances to establish the position of auxiliary police officer within the police department.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Do we have any questions?
I shared my concerns at the last police committee meeting and also kind of summarized things for the councilmen that weren't available to attend. And again, I'm all for it. There's just a couple of answers that I'll need, so I'm sure someone will get back to me, reference the questions I had.
One of those had to do with potential ability to pick up off-duty assignments.
Right.
And the current general orders within the police department. Those assignments come in, are approved, and then they are posted by the off-duty assignment officer, and they're assigned by seniority. And the auxiliary officer would not have standing of seniority within the department. He would be the lowest person in that seniority ranking, so he would have last chance to fill an off-duty shift.
Just protecting our full-time
Okay,
guys,
well,
that's all.
it's
you.
something that exists, and it's within the general orders of the department currently. Are there any other questions? Will you please take the roll?
Grubbs.
Yay.
Lewis.
Yay.
Dole.
Yay.
Mainz.
Yay.
Galindo.
Yay.
Abrams.
Yeah.
Menninger.
Yay.
We had no visitors to sign up for the visitor section this evening. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address council this evening? Could you come to the podium and provide your name and address, please?
Council, Mayor, my name is Eric Greer. I live in the Meadows, 1110 Westfield Drive, and I've been here for 23 years. The body that was found across the street at Kroger's was one of my very good friends. Now, last year we had the Hope for Heroin, and it did nothing. People were wearing shirts, nothing changed. Now, one of my friends is dead because of it. Yeah, he tried getting help, went to Suboxone clinics, and that's the only thing that would help him, was Suboxone clinics. There were no people, his friends were there, but it didn't, obviously, it didn't work. I did this earlier today at Mayor's Court, and they told me to address the council and the mayor of our town. Obviously, I'm shaky, so excuse me. This is
You were just fine.
I've been in here before, but not addressing the council or the mayor. The Harrison Police have helped me a great deal. They've put me in the right path. The officers in this town are tremendous, and so are the people here. So are the adult teens, the adults, the kids. You can go to McDonald's and it's this. It's not, how was your day? How was school? This, that, and the other thing. The parents, they look at their kids, and that's what they're in tune with, is their phones. And that's my cousin. He's never done anything wrong. He's never done anything to end up in court. But
That's a very positive thing.
yeah, he's a good kid. He's had straight A's, straight B's, and soon enough he's going to have his own place. He works all day. He's a hardworking kid. That's my aspiration. So is this town. Now, the thing that I would like to address the council is maybe an event. There are kids out here that are so depressed, they don't know where to go. They go to the music. Music will help you. Not really. The new artists today, they idolize acid or heroin or lean drugs. So that's what the kids do. I think, in our opinion, the kids can listen to their music. We all liked Ozzy Osbourne. So why can't they like their music? But it's still something that they all idolize. The drugs, the women, the clothes, the cars, the chains. It's not something that we should teach them, but if there was an event to where teens that were depressed or kids that were like addicted, to where they could go, like an event that the city was throwing maybe once a month, or just having, I don't know, that's as far as I've gotten so far. There's a lot that goes through my mind of how to change this town, because everybody knows, and I hate to be rude, but over there, if anybody lives there, where Westside Liquors is, that's the worst place. You could walk down the street and get heroin. I could go get meth right now if I wanted to. And this is in our town.
Well, we struggle with that, we really do. That's actually Indiana. So what's really
And then-
horrific is the criminals know that. So, again, we hear you, we do.
So, Eric, I want you to keep thinking. And when you come up with some more ideas, give me a call. Go on the webpage, my cell phone number's on there, and call me. We'll sit down and talk. I'd like to look to what you have and what you can bring forth. I think you're on that right path, have good intentions.
Well,
And-
just off of, I hate to interrupt, but off the top, if there was, a lot of kids don't like going to church. A lot of kids don't like talking to their parents. I
Well-
never talked to my mom,
So
you know, so,
you're willing to step out a little bit.
yeah,
Not everyone will step up there and talk.
yeah.
And
A lot of us are though, we're
so-
trying.
But you know what this crowd that might be in danger wants, needs, and if you can convey that to us, we can look into providing that outlet, that constructive, safe outlet. And so I want you to think about that, and when you have ideas, bring them to me, because our community's dying, literally, one person at a time, to find this cure. And you might have something that can prevent the next death. And I'm not laying this on you, I'm asking you to be a part of that solution. You've stepped up, and I'm willing to take you and whatever you have to bring forward and run with it.
I appreciate that.
I
And if you want to meet, not sitting on the camera in front of everybody.
On camera?
All of our, okay, ignore the cameras then.
Smile and wave.
Eric, you're
Ignore
on
the
camera.
So, you know, if you want to
You're
meet
now on the
outside of
internet.
here,
The only, yeah.
feel free to call us, because all of our contact information is online. And sitting down in a coffee house or
Yeah,
in a McDonald's is a lot easier to have clear thoughts
Yeah, we'll meet wherever
and talk
you
about
want.
stuff.
So here's the thing, just having you here, first of all, is a huge step, like the mayor said. But I will say that this community, I mean, obviously Hope over Heroin was great, but I will say, in my opinion, since then, I think we've come leaps and bounds. I'm not saying that there's still not a problem, but there's a problem in every single community across the United States of America. It's just not a Harrison thing or an Ohio thing, it's everywhere. So I would suggest that, you know, again, this is my opinion as a parent, I believe we need to focus on prevention, quite frankly, and it takes everybody, the churches, the schools, the parents, you know, all of us sitting up here. It takes the whole entire village to tackle this. Obviously, there's programs in town, Celebrate Recovery, for people that are truly looking like, okay, I'm ready to face this, right? In the meantime, we have This City, His City, and I understand you said sometimes you don't want to go to your pastor or your youth group, but it's so powerful, and there are wonderful people that serve in churches all over this community, truly, and they are there to interact with someone who is getting ready to take the path that is not going to be so good for them and for their life, and that's what they're really, truly there for. Obviously, we're having a day of service here in the city of Harrison where we're working to make this place better, clean it up. We're going to be doing all kinds of different tasks. You're welcome to join us. We have a meeting there, the day of service meeting at 611 Harrison on,
Middle of May, it's coming up.
it's coming up, yeah.
I need to
I don't
write
have
down
the
my
day
phone. It's on my
memorized.
calendar.
But
Yeah.
if you want to, again, give one of us your contact information, email and phone number and that, I'm happy to get all this to you. But like I said, it truly does take all of us here in town, and we're up here for a lot of reasons, but the main reason is we care about the city,
And
so.
a lot of those different events, an idle mind can destroy you. And I think that's what leads to a lot of depression. You were talking about the staring at the phone. Well, that leaves a lot of people lonely. So getting individuals involved in activities around town is incredibly important. So if it starts with coming to some of these different meetings and getting introductions and then inviting friends and bringing them along and everything, those are the keys to really getting them involved. They'll find out that a lot of these youth pastors around town, or just pastors in general around town, they just want to love you. And that's all it comes down to. Yeah, they're battling something more fierce than I'll ever know. But that doesn't mean I won't take them out to lunch or something.
Yeah,
So,
actually, when he don't know my whole story. I was actually addicted to Klonopin and different prescription pills, perks, anything I could get my hand on, even Adderall, and I was prescribed to him. Actually, Bobby Sider of the Harrison Police Department, he really shouldn't have, but he looked at me and he said some things that I can't say out loud, but he goes, "You're gonna mess up your life. Keep hanging out with these kids, you're gonna die." If it wasn't for Sider, I'd probably still be doing drugs, and that could have been me at Kroger. But Cody he loved everybody, and he respected everybody. Unless, you didn't respect him, then that was a whole other thing with Cody. But he had the greatest smile. He leaves behind his nephew, his sister, his mom, his dad, and his cousin. And his funeral is going to be on this Saturday at 10 o'clock over there at the funeral on Broadway. But it hit me. I sat there and I thought in my room, we had the Hope for Heroin, and, it did nothing. And it was just people walking around the community center with shirts that said Hope for Heroin, but nothing was being done besides T-shirts
So,
or being bought.
Eric, what I'll tell you a little bit about Hope for Heroin. First of all, that was in conjunction with the churches. And at the time, I had the privilege of being the chair of the board of directors for City of Refuge, who put that on. And did it do something to the whole community, and did it eradicate the problem? No. It's not going to be something that's going to go away overnight. But what I will tell you is, out of that event, there have been individuals whose lives have been changed. I'll give you an old story, and excuse me if it's a little bit long. A gentleman walks down the beach and sees starfish laying all over the beach, and he starts to pick them up and he starts to throw them in the ocean. Someone walks up to him and says, "What are you doing? You're wasting your time. You can't save them all. It doesn't matter." As he heard that, he bent down and he picked up one more starfish and he threw it in. And as he threw it in the water, he said, "It mattered to that one.
I can save that one, yeah.
It mattered to it. We have to do it. We have to, unfortunately, we have to look at the small battles, the small victories. It's the goodness of God that draws one to repentance and nothing else. That doesn't mean religion. What that means is being friendly. That means caring. That means being part of a community. Cindy said it a minute ago about it takes a village. It takes people that have the courage and the desire to stand up and put themselves out there like you. First of all, thank you for that.
Thank you.
But second of all, what that means is we start looking strategically, and how do we change the life, even if it is one at a time. If it starts with your cousin, to make sure that he doesn't go down that road. We have to work together as a community, and we do that with ownership in our community and say, you know what, we're tired of this epidemic, because one life is too much.
Yeah.
And how do we make small changes today that have lasting impacts tomorrow? No one has the answer on how to eradicate heroin or substance abuse right now from our community. It's not going to be from legislation. It's not going to be from laws and ordinances. It's going to come from us who care and say we've had enough. And we'll know what our next steps are as we take another step forward. What I'll do is give you my card that has all my contact information on it. Anytime that you want to speak and bring ideas, I'm a firm believer in the way that we change things is we open dialogue and communication. We have to care, but we have to put ideas out. For every idea that we adopt and that makes a change, we have to generate 100 ideas or better to do that. Never give up. Never say it didn't work because all they did was T-shirts. Let's learn from those lessons and let's move forward and say, what can we do next? We're a community, and the reason we're all sitting up here is just like you, we care. We are all parents, we're fathers and mothers, we're aunts and uncles, we're citizens of Harrison, and we're up here because we want to make sure that what we pass on to the next generation is better than what we've received, but it takes us further.
Absolutely.
And partner with us. You have chiefs of police and the fire chief that care. You have a council that cares. You have folks in this room that care. Let's never stop the dialogue and say, it didn't happen today, so I'm done. We can never give up, because honestly, what's at stake is too important. Your cousin's too important for him to go down a road that he may not ever come back from. So, partner with us.
Yeah, I'm glad that, I'm actually 3 years sober off pills. So, I mean, I do drink alcohol here and there, but, I mean, that's a beer. So, the thing that helped me the most was City of Refugee. I messed up in the past, and that's where they made me go. But talking to an ex-heroin addict who went through stealing his mom's jewelry and her money and her purse, stealing her car, getting into a wreck, trying to run from the police and getting shot in the back. They need to get, the guys who are doing the drug just need to be shown that it could be way worse than just doing it. And stealing money or stealing from a store because you think it's funny and you're a gangster or something that is so close to death, you don't understand it until you're dead. I've died. I've been dead. And I'm lucky to be alive talking to all of you.
I'll leave you with one more thought. There's only so much that we can do. If I went down to the West Liquor Store and started to talk to individuals who were in that lifestyle, they would think that I was full of a crock of you know what.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't listen to me. They would believe that we don't relate. They don't realize we're just ordinary people. But you know what? I've never walked in those shoes, or at least I've never walked in those shoes, so I can't tell someone how to do something. You've walked in those shoes. The message that you have and the power that you have because of your testimony will change lives. And people will see hope in you, Eric, saying, if he could get his life together, and if he could stop it, so can I. We're all put on this earth, and we can affect certain sects of people in different communities. We all have different groups that we walk in. There's an old saying that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. But when you show that you can break that curse, and it's a curse, make no mistake about it, when we break that curse and we show that there's hope, and that's why Hope Over Heroin goes around all over the country, because we show hope that it can be done. So take your story. Take the story of your friends who've done the same thing. You can make a significant difference. But let's strategize. How do we do things strategically? Because you can touch people that folks here on the council can't. And the inverse is true as well. We can affect other crowds of people that you may not be able to affect. But we're one community, and we're Harrison, and we need to stand together. And I commend you for coming up, and thank you for your words.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of this meeting to listen.
Well, Eric, I'd like to express my condolences. I'm really sorry for your loss. It's hard to lose a friend. But you're an example of a win, just like Urbano was saying. You use your example to lead people down the right path. I think you've got not just a desk full of people up here, but a whole room full of people out there who will help you and help your friends. We've been fighting this. I've been working with the police chief for the last 6 years fighting this. You can't police this out of Harrison.
No, but we can get warrants and evidence and arrest them all. I mean,
And then more come back. You can't
There are
police it.
people-
You can control it to some degree. You can't police it away. The only way you get rid of this is to affect the user.
Right.
That's the only way you get rid of this. And it's people like yourself who can affect the user. I know other people who are success stories from beating heroin and other addictive drugs, and they are the strongest proponents of how to fix this problem. Be one of those people. That's the best thing you can do for your friend that you lost.
this is my first step. So from here, I don't know.
And it's a great,
Well, we're all behind you. I
We're
think
here and to
you've
support
got-
you.
you can get contacted, I'll give you my card too. And we're all ears, because this problem hasn't gone away. And it's not going to until the users are affected, so. Stand
Not one
tall.
person has the answers, but collectively, we can get there.
Thank you for coming up tonight.
Thank you. Thank you all.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Do we have any other audience members that would like to address council this evening? If you could please come forward.
He gave me courage. My name is Michelle Elliott, and I'm the branch manager of the Public Library of Cincinnati, Hamilton County.
Yes.
Harrison branch, did I say that? Thank you for having me up here. Appreciate it. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the library and the resource that we are for you all in the community. So hopefully you all know where the library is located.
My daughter works there.
I know. I was like, a friendly face. Okay, so I thought,
We're there.
Kenzie, we're tracking.
Yeah.
Okay, so the library is an important community asset. We have valuable services in every neighborhood and community across the county. Just in Harrison alone last year, we had over 475 events and classes, and over 17,000 people came to those classes at our library. And nearly 45% of them were directed at early literacy. So we have a strong community representation at the library. The library system is one of the oldest and busiest in the country, with nearly 500,000 cardholders. We have 80% of the households in the county have someone with a library card. Since 2000, our circulation has increased 60%. And in fact, in 2016, we were the second busiest library in the country, next only to New York Public Library.
Wow. It's exciting.
It is pretty exciting.
It is.
Our library's digital circulation is among the highest in the nation. Last year, we circulated close to 2 million digital downloads, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
7 of our branch locations are over 100 years old, and 2 of those libraries have never been renovated. Harrison is one of the lucky ones. We're just 16 years old, so we're pretty good. But, it's a county-wide system, and so a lot of the neighborhoods aren't as lucky as we are. Our library is fiscally responsible and works hard to meet our community needs. Our state funding has been cut by 26% since 2000, and if you remember, in that same time frame, our circulation has increased 60% in that same time frame. Our library's budget has not increased in nearly 20 years, so as you can imagine, that's a long time to go without an increase to your budget. Our library currently has the lowest local funding of any major library system in the state. So in May, we're going to have a levy on the ballot, and so the levy is needed to prevent multi-million-dollar annual deficits and cuts. Without it, we simply cannot meet our existing facility or customer needs. The cost is less than $3 a month. It's a 1 mil levy, and it's less than $3 a month per $100,000 of property value. So with the levy, the library can provide every community with a branch that is well-maintained and up-to-date. So like Harrison, for example, we were built in 2001, and so we haven't had, we have the same carpet that we had when we were built. We're getting a new roof now, but our furniture is the same, so if you've been in there, like our carpet is really bad, but, and we're one of the lucky ones, a lot of the other libraries are in a lot worse repair. They'd also be able to repair and replace roofs and windows and brickwork that hasn't been done because of lack of funding. We could renovate the main library, repurpose the north building, and move the distribution center to a more efficient location. We can continue to purchase enough materials for our customers' needs, including the digital content, and continue our valuable programs that we offer and the services that we offer, and continue providing computers and internet access. We have over 30 computers at the library where folks can come in and use those with their library card or with the guest pass. And like when the gentleman before me was talking, I was like, the library is a great place for kids to come and hang out. We have all kinds of programs for teens, and young adults. We have a new program for gamers, like young adult gamers, to bridge that gap between, when they're teens to when they're young adults. So I don't know. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No, I just think that you provide an excellent service. I know the Harrison location is absolutely incredible. I was just up there just recently because you have the Art Expo. Actually, I was going to talk about it in conjunction with the Harrison High School and junior school for Youth Art Month. And, I get my monthly downloads of different books, but I was raised in a family of my mom reading probably 3 books a week. So, but at the same time, my wife also brings the kids that she nannies up there for washing the windows on the bus or something like that during story time. So all I get is a story from a 3-year-old hopping around talking about washing something on a bus or something. I don't know.
Our children's librarian is phenomenal. She is doing some amazing things. We're piloting a new program. It's called Kinderbridge, which is sort of like a bridge between preschool and kindergarten. So it's more of instead of like a traditional story time, it's more like a circle time kind of thing, and stations where the kids can learn stuff. Very educational. It's just been really exciting. So.
Well, it is amazing because the older kid that grew up through it already is in school and he's excelling in school, and his 3-year-old little brother comes to our house, not home. He got his own home, but comes to the house and they sit down and read book after book after book because of the excitement that was created in the library. So you guys do an excellent job up there.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So when you guys get ready to do the levy, my yard is open for a levy sign.
Thank you.
I honestly believe that reading is fundamental, and it is the foundation and the building blocks on successful communities and children, and without that, we're lost. So any way we can help, let us know.
All right.
Well, it is. It's key to all the educational steps going forward. So
It's the foundation.
Thank you.
My
very
wife's a
much.
teacher too, so.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Do we have anyone else present that would like to speak this evening? I guess everybody else is either not wanting to speak or too afraid. Y'all found courage.
After Eric's, I think he should come up.
So that brings us down to the mayor's report. I'd like to congratulate Crown Plastics and Gary Ellerhorst with their plans and their growth and their sustained growth over the last 40 years in the city. We have a lot of businesses that have very similar success stories in the community, and we hope to see many more of those come to our community. We have a strong business community. The chamber is one of the reasons that it's getting stronger. And I congratulate Gary on the accomplishments his company's made and wish them a very successful future. Our first visitor, Eric Greer, that encourages me to see somebody that has a problem and is looking for the way to correct it. He named one of our officers as being an inspiration to getting him on that first step of that change of his life, and he's got a cousin that's an inspiration to him. A lot of times, the adults can't be that inspiration because we don't connect with those people. So I encourage anybody that's like Eric that wants to reach out. I'll work with you. I may not be able to relate on your level, but I'm more than willing to hear you out and listen to your ideas and try to find another solution, because there's not one solution to fix this problem. Every person could be a different solution, and if you bring one of those forward, it could save a life or maybe more. So get the courage Eric had and reach out and contact one of us if you can't get hold of me. We've got resources and we'll work with you. We want nothing more than to see this epidemic go away. I really don't have any other prepared comments this evening, but The library is a wonderful asset to our community also, so keep that in mind when May comes around. Does the law director have a report this evening?
No, Mayor, I do not have a report. I just want to remind, we said that resolution for the annexation, Shannon, you need to get that down to the county commissioners. So within the next day or two. But other than that, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Mrs. Abrams, you have a report this evening?
I do, Mr. Mayor, thank you. The City of Harrison's Easter program is March 31st. At 8 o'clock a.m., we'll kick off with the Boy Scout Troop 408 breakfast. 10 a.m. starts the games. Thank you, Legacy Church, for sponsoring the games. And 11 a.m. will start the egg hunt. That will last about 30 seconds. So bring, the kids are so fast. Bring your Easter basket for your eggs and your camera for free pictures with the Easter Bunny. And new this year, we're going to have an Easter egg juggler, so that should be pretty exciting. The district is gearing up for the second annual food truck rally, which is going to be held May 19th. I know May seems like it's far away, but it's going to be here before we know it, from 4 to 10 p.m. So mark your calendars for another fabulous event in the district. Economic Development Committee met tonight. We're very excited to announce that the owners of the Coffee Peddler are getting close to submitting their formal plans for their new wine and craft beer bistro next to their existing coffee shop. They've already begun the demo day. They had that back on February 24th. That was exciting. Demo of the interior and the facade of the former bank building. There have been 2 change of use applications that applied in the DRD that will be heard at the March 13th Planning Commission meeting. One is for a residence at the house at 500 Harrison Avenue, and one is for a flower shop at 130 Harrison Avenue. The city has not yet received word from the state reference our approval for the entertainment district for the DRD that was approved by City Council here February 20th. Economic developer Shannon Hammonds is going to reach out to them again this week. That should give us 12 permits available for the entertainment district. Minor changes to our comprehensive plan are being made. Hank's going to talk more about this. Join us March 15th for the public open house right here at the community center. 6 downtown property owners picked up applications for the DRD revolving loan fund, mostly for facade improvements, and 3 submitted their applications to the county. The county is still reviewing, and we're waiting on information back from them. Our next economic development meeting is Tuesday, April 6th at 6 p.m. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, do you have a report this evening?
Thank you, Mayor Nyer. I'm going to be attending the OKI Regional Planning meeting Thursday morning. I was able to attend my first meeting last month and found it really, really interesting. And, you know, what we're going to try to do is pay attention to what may be going on there that we may be able to tap in here in our community to benefit our citizens. It's a regional planning group. Some of the discussions are just amazing when you see the things that are going on regionally all around us and how they target different areas for the larger projects. So I think at some point, the way we're growing out here, we hope to be one of their larger areas that maybe we can get them to target. Law Committee met this evening. We had an executive session, talked about a couple of pending litigation matters. We also talked about the comprehensive plan. There's going to be a public forum on that on May the 15th, right here in this building, from 6 until 8.
Is that March?
Pardon me?
March the 15th, right?
Yeah, March 15th.
Yep.
It's important that as many people as possible attend that and provide their input. This process has been ongoing for about a year now. We've covered pretty much the whole waterfront, literally and figuratively. Some of the things that we're looking toward in the future are happening as I'm sitting here. The progress of the city hasn't waited for the master plan, but as it's being developed, we're keeping in mind some of the things we're learning as we're going through the process. Obviously, our downtown district is a high priority. Cindy's already alluded to the activities that we have downtown to draw people here. We have new businesses wanting to locate here. Certainly Jerry Lynn Job and her family adding on the new beer and wine bistro deserve a good old dilly-dilly for that one. We're hoping more restaurants and more businesses continue to locate here. There are other challenges that the city has too. Anybody that's gotten on or off the expressway at Dry Fork and I-74 knows the congestion there, and you can picture how much greater that congestion is going to be, as 300 and 400 more homes are built, out Dry Fork Road toward New Haven. We got to think outside the box. How are we going to manage that traffic? We talking about widening highways? We talking about lights, possibly roundabouts, things like that to manage the traffic. Development's coming, and it's going to come. It's going to be good for the community, and our challenge is to manage it. And the plan, we laid out a little bit, the first draft at the chamber breakfast a couple of weeks ago, and the format of the plan is going to be easy for almost any citizen to pick up, look at, and get a grasp of what it is that we're trying to envision for this community going forward. And one of the things I said at that breakfast, and I'll say to those of you here tonight and anybody that's watching, is that this is something we want you to hold us accountable for. We've put a lot of time, money, and effort into this. Too often these plans are developed and adopted only to be shelved and nobody looks at them again for 10 years. We're not doing that. Every decision that we make going forward in terms of development, be it zoning changes, variances, almost anything, we need to be able to lay it down next to that plan and say, is this consistent with what we laid out as our vision for this community? We're trying to attract good, clean manufacturing here. We're trying to manage the growth. We need maybe a little bit more lower density housing. We need to be looking at things like an aging population. I don't consider myself, even though I kid about it, a geezer quite yet, but I'm 68, approaching 70, and in golf terminology, we say we're on the back nine, and maybe the back six, I don't know, but in any event, people in my generation are starting to look at housing needs that work for us, single floor plans maybe, that type of thing, and, all this stuff is going to come here, and we needed to have a plan that helps us manage what, where, how, and when. And I think this plan's going to do that. We're not finished with it. We've had one draft. There have been some changes to it. There's going to be more changes to it as we approach its adoption. But this public forum on the 15th is going to be a very important time for our community to take a look at it. You can get copies here. You can get it, I believe, at the public library and the Coffee Peddler, if I'm not mistaken. You can also go online to get it. So, at the city's website. So we ask that you take a look at it, come prepared to ask questions, or just to listen and try to understand and be interested. So later on, you can be the guy that walks up and says, Manager, why'd you let this happen? You developed this master plan, said this wasn't going to happen. Hold us accountable. And that's what we're trying to do here. So the way the process looks like it's going to go forward, we got the public forum on the 15th. That will be followed by the plan going to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission will consider it. I believe they'll be holding a public hearing as well. Once the Planning Commission adopts it, sends it to City Council, we too will have time to review, the hopefully final draft. But, we can tinker with that too to improve it if possible. There'll be another public hearing, and we hope to have a vote and have the plan completed and in place sometime during the month of May. So that's where the comprehensive plan stands. Glad Mr. Dieter stepped back in the room. I didn't get a chance to mention this during the Law Committee meeting, but it looked like last week Franklin County Common Pleas Court basically, I guess, ruled against municipalities on the centralized collection, and the municipal league's recommending that we adopt local legislation to authorize the state to be able to collect that. So I think there's an opt-in process to it. Bill, I can send a copy of this to you.
Sure.
They got a draft ordinance that you can work with to try to work something up, and we ought to maybe look at that at the, I guess, law committee meeting in May, or in April, rather. I want to thank, too, the folks that came here again tonight. I think what you're trying to do is taking a negative, channeling some positive energy toward a solution. I don't think any of us up here, know what that solution is. I'm one of those guys that can't even wrap my brain around how it even happens. And I think that's a start, for people like me to maybe learn and understand how it happens. We've seen stuff on TV about it. People are well aware of the consequences. And for some reason, people still choose knowing what those consequences are likely to be. And, on the prevention end, if you could grab people today and just say, if we could go forward with no new users, that would be a great start. And I wish I had the answers for that. There's so many problems we seem to deal with in this country, from the heroin problem, the school shootings. Some of it may be even interlinked at some point. But we got to figure out how to fix this, and it's definitely broken. We thank the public library for being here tonight. Again, I certainly get my use out of it when we get the books to travel with. Always makes a long trip go shorter, it seems like. And, we thank you for your involvement, your interest, and you got a road to hoe between now and May, and wish you the best on that. Mayor, that's all I have to report tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Grubbs, do you have a report this evening?
Yeah, I have a couple different things to cover. First, finance meeting is on March 20th at 5:30. As the mayor noted earlier, there is an email out to everybody in regards to the purchase orders. Please just review that, get any feedback, just in regards to changing up the process a little bit. But hopefully it will streamline not only everything here at the meeting, but in the finance department. I do want to thank Gary Ellerhorst for coming out this evening. I don't know if anybody out there listening right now has had the opportunity to sit down with Mr. Ellerhorst, but he is an absolutely incredible guy and really invested in this community. Yes, he may live in on the west side, but he's just as much Harrison as most of us. But not only does he run an excellent company, but he really provides a lot to our community. And I thank him for absolutely everything that he does. I do want to give a couple shout outs for the school. The school obviously does an excellent job teaching our students on a daily basis, but I talked about the wrestling program a couple weeks ago, and we have 5 wrestlers going to the State of Ohio wrestling tournament. Cameron Baird, Jacob Bernhardt, Simon Shirley, and Cameron Sourwine are wrestling for the state championship, and then Luke Shirley has an alternate position just in case somebody doesn't weigh in right. It's an exciting time. I grew up wrestling, and it's quite a feat to be able to go to the state wrestling tournament. But I also want to talk about the Harrison Band. You were talking about music and being involved in music, and so many individuals out there can get themselves wrapped up in music. And I'll tell you, Mr. Egan, the band director up there, really does an excellent job with our music program. The OMEA state competition, or state judging, was going on last weekend, and I think there are 28 schools at the high school for this event. And I had the privilege to go see the band, concert band program and jazz band, which we have an excellent jazz band. We need to talk about getting them at the summer concert series. But had the privilege to go see them perform, and they did an excellent job. Thanks to the public library, you guys you do an excellent job, as I stated before. And I'm more than willing to put a sign up also. I do. I support everything that library does. Mr. Greer, thank you very much for coming. Actually, both of you for coming. It's not easy coming here. I've been doing this for 4 years and 2 months, and I still get nervous sitting here talking in front of people. When you're not used to it, it's even more difficult. But to come here with a problem and a hope for a solution or a step towards a solution. For years I talked about parents taking the time, talking to their kids and giving them a hug. But it's not just parents, it's friends, it's everybody, because that's the easiest way for people to withdraw when they're not being recognized. That's why our police officers do an excellent job. When you were talking about Officer Sack, it reminded me of a situation where one of our officers was sitting on the front of an apartment complex just talking to a kid. It's stuff like that where they're noticed. And that one little recognition can keep them from taking a wrong step one way or another, even if it's for a day. And that's what we all have to do in our community. Saying hi to somebody and recognizing that they're there instead of looking at the phone or staring at the TV or whatever it is. We instituted cards after dinner just to force our kids to sit the phones down and have conversation. Now, is it boring conversation? Absolutely incredible, because I can't get them to talk. But we talk about stuff. But it's all of our jobs to do it. And then we continue to work together and come together. Yeah, we might be behind you, but we'll be behind you giving all the strength that you need, because you might be the one that affects people. So keep up the good fight. Stand tall, keep your chin up. If there's anything, give us a call. Shoot us an email, do whatever, and we'll do whatever we can for you. And we do have a whole bunch of connections too. So, but thank you very much for coming out. With that, I think that is everything, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lewis, do you have a report this evening?
Mayor, I have nothing to report this evening, except to let Ryan know that I grew up wrestling too, but it was really just for self-defense, but that's the thing.
Well, it started that way.
It was survival.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd like to say, Eric, you're just, I'm so encouraged by the fact that you came forward and spoke to us. I know this big, long, intimidating desk with a bunch of people with ties on is hard to talk in front of. It's hard to sit behind too. But when I get out from behind this desk, I got a hoodie on and jeans, so I'm just a regular guy too. But the courage it took for you to come up here and talk to people, whether you like it or not, you just became a leader tonight.
Amen.
So take it forward.
I might have a small solution that might bring the community together a little bit. How many of you have heard of
Go to the
Party
podium.
Day?
Go to the podium so everybody can hear you. We can hear you, but on TV they can. Thank you.
There's TV.
There is TV.
It'll
You
go
could
back
watch
on
the
TV.
recording after Thursday on our
Yeah, it'll be on
website.
the internet on Thursday.
Nobody
yeah.
watches it.
Don't think
Show it to all your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's your time.
the only time I've been on TV was on Cops.
You're
Oh,
on.
well, now you're on. This is a little more positive than
I
that.
just, I had to go outside and get myself together.
Sure.
How many of you have actually heard of the rapper Carter Gray that is in our town? Nobody? He's made the,
The
he's
audience.
made the Harrison Press. He's been on Fox 19 News. He does a lot for the town. Well, music anyways. Now, me and this officer were talking about maybe doing an event, because all of his songs are positive, they're motivational, and they're upbringing. So if maybe we could get a venue or a concert or something of that stature to where he has a platform, because there's a lot of times that he goes out of town. He's toured with actually 3 big names that nobody in here would know besides me and those 2. But
I try, I promise.
Tech Nine, Snow the Prada, he's He's toured with Cryptic Wisdom. They're all underground rappers, and they all have a very, very big fan base. Now, there's people in this town that love Carter Gray. I mean, he's an inspiration to us all. I mean, to me, a lot. But half these people, they're not allowed to see him because they don't have a car, they don't have gas, and they don't have a way to get to a show. So here would just be easier and convenient for everybody. And having literally the whole entire community together would be nice. A venue, a show, something with a few different artists that are around town they bring positive music.
So are you thinking, Chief, were you thinking like to put him on as an opener to our summer concert series? Like, is he an opening act type band, or what would he?
I think he wants to have a standalone event. Yeah, I think we could probably arrange that.
Yeah, what I mentioned briefly to him outside was that if we could put together a mini festival event here using our stage.
Sure.
With people the artists that he knows will draw the youth here.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the Heroin Coalition, I can have booths set up, both faith-based booths and also heroin and drug addiction resource booths, so that we can have food and music and people here that they can reach out and help and give assistance and give them some guidance and just make it a large community event and just have a music festival in which the youth and the adults in our community and those that are in Hamilton County that wish to help those with addiction and with addiction service needs, that together we can have just one big event.
So I think, speaking to your point, the Heroin Coalition, but also this city, his city, I think would be very interested to partner with us with this. So,
We could pull that off. We just need
we
to
could
find
pull it
out.
off. We're really good at that, actually.
Yeah, our first.
I mean, not to brag, but,
No,
so,
I mean,
just saying.
I got some bragging rights too.
Yeah.
But,
So, come on, after the
You up
meeting,
there
we'll
singing?
talk.
All right.
So, okay.
Our first was Taylor Miley when we were kids. That was our first heroin overdose that we had. And then actually Carter made a song called Heroin, and he lost his sister to heroin as well. Well, made a song to that as well. And they're amazing songs, and if people can relate to what he feels inside, maybe they can know that somebody cares for them.
Right.
Not only him,
Okay.
but a whole community coming together. So I thought about it, I called him outside, and he said, bring it on.
Okay,
So
great.
Make it happen.
we need to meet
Yeah.
and get some information exchanged so that we can get this process started. We can't just pick a date. We have to include these other people in that planning.
Absolutely.
We have resources in a venue and a stage, so we can make this happen.
Okay. If you'd like to take my number down, we can.
Well, we'll meet afterwards. I don't want you
We'll
to
get it off
say
the
it on
record.
camera.
Yeah.
You want to put that on TV?
Every one of your friends will
We're
call.
on TV, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to put your cell phone out there to everybody.
It's cable
Cable.
broadcast.
So Mayor, tomorrow,
There's 10 people watching it.
tomorrow we're meeting to do like the community calendar, so
Yeah.
the school district, the city, his city,
Well, that'd be
I
great.
mean, everybody,
Well,
rec, the
We're
city
gonna
get
have
with
to-
district.
his.
We're going to have to talk to the performers to see their availability.
Right.
And that's not going to be something we can get tomorrow.
And then we have to make sure that it doesn't conflict with
Yeah,
anything
right.
we already have
So
going
what
on.
we'll do is
So-
we'll have that calendar so we can work around it.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, sounds good, all right. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, sir.
We're still in Mr. Lewis's report if he would.
Oh, I gave it away.
He
so
was talking about a wrestling match
We're
with
good.
Ryan, so I think we can
That could be the opening act.
on with that.
No.
No, thank you.
Charity.
I would pay
I'm
to
old
see
now,
that.
and
You-
I'd give some
You
money
two
for
in
the mayor's fund
spandex
for
is not
that.
something,
Ryan, you're way younger than I am, buddy.
Eric would put a 50 on
I
it,
was tilling
so
my
we're
garden
on.
and I'm hurting now. So, I can't imagine wrestling now.
But anyway, thanks a lot for coming in tonight. We'll be talking to you. That's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dole, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor. We had quite a item-packed committee meetings tonight, but before I get started, Eric, we all start to echo each other after a while. But I did just kind of think about it. I thought, in the couple years that I've been up here, we've never, to the best of my recollection, really had somebody come in and kind of want to go down this avenue. And, You are Urbano's starfish, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think this is going in kind of an interesting direction. This is how it starts,
Yeah.
you know? So,
An idea.
Hasn't happened in my 6
Good.
years.
yeah, so I know it hadn't happened to mine too. So,
Starfish.
anyway, thank you for coming in. And hopefully this grows and goes. So let's start, committee-wise, let's start with Streets Committee. So the first item on the Streets Committee agenda tonight, we had some residents from the Parks of Whitewater come in. There's been some discussion in the recent months about the signage at the roundabout at the Parks of Whitewater. And also there is a three-way stop that we're going to be, it's an intersection of Tunis and Sefton. We're going to be installing stop signs there, making it a three-way stop. Our Public Works Director, Jim Leslie, had sent some information to the Homeowners Association at the parks to show them kind of a typical signage layout for roundabouts in the county. They've got signage before the roundabout notifying you that you're coming into one, and then at the roundabout, there are yield signs. So that was shared with them. Everybody's on board, so we're going to go ahead with the process of getting that signage installed. The second item on Streets Committee tonight, we did receive grant money, which I think I reported on last month, for the North Hill Street reconstruction. We've went with our engineers and kind of assessed the bid climate right now. Most contractors have got backlogged work already for summer of 18. So we're going to hold off and we're going to bid that in December of 18 so that we can get a little more bang for our buck and get more favorable pricing. Folks will be outbidding then for their spring 19 start work. So that's how we're going to handle that. Utilities Committee. This was an interesting one tonight. So we had a sanitary sewer backup on West Road. Public Works Director Jim Leslie, he called our contractors out. This has kind of been a problematic section of sewer. It's an older sewer that was installed when the area was originally developed. Jim has had, they had the section of sewer that collapsed fixed, and he has begun running cameras down the existing sewers. There had been a project a couple years ago to replace some of the worst sewer pipe that was in there. So at our utilities meeting tonight, we went ahead and the committee authorized an emergency sewer project to go in there and camera the remaining pipe and see exactly what extent to which we need to replace and to go ahead and get this fixed so that this doesn't happen again.
Ethan, I had a citizen call me on this yet a day or two ago, and I talked to Jim a little bit tonight. And I think the hope is that whatever we do, for once and for all, the problem is completely repaired and that we don't approach it on a piecemeal basis.
Sure.
That we only need to do this for now and we'll worry about the other stuff later.
And
I
that
think
was-
we've taken that approach before.
Yeah, well, and that was
It
a
hasn't
couple
been a
years
good
ago.
result.
Right.
And that was the discussion tonight, was that Jim's meeting with them this week. They're going to go through the entire length. So that pipe, as it runs down from New Haven Road, it grows as it goes down, and running right down the middle of West Road there, that's a trunk that runs down its collection for that whole half of the, this side of the highway. So that pipe has seen way more gallons than anything else around there. So that is why it's so corroded and just falling apart, really. So Jim is going to check from it's a 15-inch reinforced concrete pipe right now. We've went in and we've replaced sections with an SDR pipe, same diameter, 15-inch, in the past, the worst section. So now he's going to go through, we're going to assess everything that is RCP through there. Everything's going to be cameraed. We'll have footage. We'll know where it's, in the flatter areas, the pipe may be in better shape. Going down the hill, it's probably not. That's, where we're having some issues, especially with the cave-ins and stuff like that. So everything's going to be assessed, the entire run of the 15-inch reinforced concrete pipe. It's from the 70s. They're going to camera every bit of it, and the hope is that we can go in there. If there is some of it in the flatter range that isn't corroded or, with the mesh and reinforcing showing, then we'll talk about that and we'll see what, what the engineers deem is the best
What
solution.
about some of the homeowners along the route that had damage due to that?
Well, and that's what we're
We're dealing with the insurance.
dealing with
in
the
regards
insurance
to-
companies right now. And we
Okay.
had some in our committee meeting tonight, and the mayor had, offered some ideas of ways that we can go through and get that
Well,
taken
certainly
care of.
don't hesitate to have Mr. Dieter's beat dots on their head if you can't.
It may take that. So that is pending, but that's going to be a big project that's going to draw a lot of resources from our wastewater fund, but it needs to be done. And I mean, it's an emergency situation, so we need to go ahead with it. And that's, I believe, all I've got this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Maines, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, Mayor, I do. Thank you. I'd like to thank all of our guests this evening. I really, truly, the heroes of Harrison that came forward and spoke tonight. Dr. Ronnie Wolf set the tone with his invocation tonight. I'm so thankful that we start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance and then with a prayer and an invocation. Gary Ellerhorst at Crown Plastics is truly a hero. He employs a lot of people here in this town, and our businesses are really our business owners are the folks that step out and take the real risk every day to run a business and keep our economy growing and moving, and I want to thank him for coming out tonight. Prayers for Jim Kennan. I pray that whatever he has fallen ill to, that he would have a quick recovery and a full recovery. Eric, last council meeting, I reported a needle that I found, a hypodermic needle that I found in my front yard, and I communicated to the citizens of Harrison what they need to do when they find something like that. And because of that conversation, I had another citizen come to me and tell me her story about her family and their struggle with addiction and how it affected their family. A couple of her family members have been, seriously hit with that. And she talked about the process they went through to manage and live with that now, because it's always with you once you have it. And it was a learning experience for me. And I want to thank you for coming in tonight, because tonight was truly a learning experience as well. And that's how we learn. We make mistakes. We do things like hope over heroin, and that works for some people, and it doesn't work for a lot of others. But we ask questions, and we say, why did that work? Why, how did it work? Why didn't it work? And we do better the next time. And I think you understand that, right? And I want to thank you for having the courage to come up and speak to us tonight. I just pray that your efforts are rewarded, that more people come out and they speak up and they talk about their needs and what we can do as a community, because it requires city officials, and it requires the churches, and it requires citizens and folks like yourself to we got to talk about, we got to figure this problem out. We all got to work together, and there isn't one solution. There's lots of different solutions, right? And gosh, if it takes one of your buddies to come ride a dirt bike with me, and I got a couple extras, and being willing to talk about that down at the track, or whatever we got to do. We all have our talents, our passions, our things that kind of drive us, and if that can help us, if we can use those things to create a solution, let's do it. So thanks for coming tonight. And certainly our prayers are with you guys and with Cody's family as we all grieve, as a city, as we all grieve. I mean, those pictures I saw on the internet just tore me up to see that. And so thanks for coming. Gosh, we're going to have long reports tonight. All you heroes, keep coming. We had a tree board meeting. Our first tree board meeting of the year was Tuesday, February the 27th. It was great to hear from our enthusiastic members of the tree board: Gail Chuck, Debbie McCain, Amy Searcy, Doug Lohman, Debbie Mossberger. We look forward to seeing her at the March meeting. She was still in Florida at the time. But excited about our city's street status as a Tree City USA, learning all about the tree board. What a fun group they are, enthusiastic. And we have several projects for the year. One of the big ones is part of the 3-year plan to plant several large trees along Harrison Avenue and New Haven Road. And these trees are going to be planted in October for Make a Difference Day. On October 23rd, the tree board will be providing 200 black gum seedlings as part of their Arbor Day giveaway. This will take place at 7 p.m. at the public library, if Michelle is still here. And we're looking forward to that. Jim Searcy is going to be our guest speaker that evening. So, and I'm looking forward to the March meeting and getting together with these folks. Tree Board's a lot of fun. This past Saturday, Urbano and I attended the OML, or Ohio Municipal League's training for newly elected council members. Went over lots of stuff, we had attorneys talking to us all day long, so no offense, Bill.
Exhausted.
No
Totally
offense, no
exhausted.
offense, Hank. You know, there's a lot to
of
be in.
words.
My dad was there with you.
Yes, he was.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and there's a lot to being a councilman and a councilwoman that I didn't realize until this past Saturday. And you know, I'd like to thank the mayor and the council and the city for sending us to this very valuable training. Tonight, the IT committee met, and we are still working on some proposals to get our IT and phone telecom system audited and trying to get the best value to our taxpayers. We have 3 companies that are providing proposals for us to do that audit so we can get our hands wrapped around what we've got and what we need to change and do better on. We're working on the website. I know the website's a problem. I go out there and I find mistakes. And so I'm reporting those and getting those fixed as quickly as we can, as well as we're looking at Civic Plus. We had asked them to take a look at what they were doing for us, and they've decided that they can give us more services for less money. So we like that, and so we're going to go with that. And that'll be a several-month project as they update the design and improve our website and try to make some of the website make a little bit more sense. March 13th is the day of service meeting. You mentioned that, Cindy, in your report. That's at 611 Harrison Avenue. And 7 o'clock, I got to look up the time. I should have wrote that down.
Yeah.
7
I knew
o'clock.
It was 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, March
March
13th. March 15th 's on my calendar, Hank. April 14th is the Taxman 5K put on by the Kiwanis. You can find information about that on the city's website. That is something you can find right on the front page of the website. Yeah, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Urbano, Mr.
I'll
Glenn,
tell
do
you
have-
what, it's getting close to 9. I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Echo the sentiments of everyone else. The Building and Lands Committee met on the 27th of February. It's our first meeting since I've taken office. We had a couple different discussions. First and foremost, some of the rules and responsibilities, bringing me up to speed on some of the processes and some of the projects that we have and some of the shared services. Some new things that came out of that meeting are some opportunities for continuing to bring some activities for the community. Early stages and some discussions. One area of concern that came from a concerned citizen was with the dog park. How do we have some segregation in the dog park between large dogs and small dogs, as they've seen big dogs chasing little dogs around? We want to make sure, if it's important to the community, it's important to us, right? But saying, how do we work collectively as a community to bring some solutions, not just how do we go to the city and say, can you fund a project for us? So some of the things that we've talked about are what are some ways that we can raise revenue or some revenue streams to fund some of these activities, looking at some of the projects that we know that within the next couple years are going to have to come have to get done. The refurbishments of the tennis courts, new projects. I know it's been thrown around a bit about pickle courts and what have you, but how do we work together? How do we find alternate solutions to not just always pull out of the city, bringing up some ideas and some idea generation. So if we're missing something, bring some ideas, some things that we've tossed around where if we have a tennis court or pickleball court, can we do some naming rights to generate some funds? Throw it out there to Mr. Moss. Wouldn't it sound great to have the Harrison tennis court, the JTM tennis court, throwing it out there if you're watching? But how do we look at areas of opportunity to bring some additional resources and revenues so that we work collectively as a community? Some other things that we discussed out there were some of the ball fields getting ready for the season. We have to have things for our youth to do to keep them out of trouble. And if I look at some of the law reports that I've seen from Chief Lindsay, and a lot of the stats that I've seen are trending in the positive way for us for the great work that we're doing. But there was one that stood out to me a little bit, and that was some of the misdemeanors that our youth are getting caught or getting stopped by. How do we have resources or programs that we can provide outlets so that we can be proactive? So we don't just sit back and always say, how do we fix the problem? How do we get ahead of it? And looking at those areas of opportunity. Also, on March 2nd, shifting gears a little bit, Chief Herzog and I visited the ROC. It's the Regional Operations Center for Emergency Management Civil Defense. I think this goes hand in hand, Hank, with the comprehensive plan. If we're looking at growth, if we're looking at different opportunities for the city to expand, to invest, how do we prepare for catastrophes? I'm a firm believer in you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best. Hopefully we don't ever need those resources, but we have to have plans in places. We have some ideas that we are going to be bringing to council, ideas that we're going to be bringing to you, Mr. Mayor, as to how do we put ourselves in a very good position so that when things happen, that we get back to normal as quickly as possible. That happens through process. That happens by being deliberate. That happens by having plans in places and saying, what are our roles, our responsibilities, our functions as a city, as a community, as this city, his city, our city employees? How do we put processes in place so that we are prepared? And it's not just flooding, it's not just, it's everything that goes with emergency management. And this is not a can that we can kick down the road for another 3, 4, 5 years. We have to have a plan. I said it while I was campaigning. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best day is today. I'm sitting next to the tree guy next to me. So we need to plant some trees. We need to start saying, how do we prepare ourselves going forward so that we put Harrison in the best position and we become good stewards over our town, our community going forward. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you. Do we have any other business we need to attend to? If not, like the motion
to adjourn?
Second. Oh.
3 seconds.
Lewis.
Enthusiastic seconds.
Yay.
Dole.
Yay.
Maines.
Yay.
Galindo.
Yay.
Abrams.
Yay.
Menninger.
Yay.
Grubbs.
Yay.
Stand adjourned. Thank you.